Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Salon Scandals, Nails of Fury, a Sin City Scorcher, where we invite you to dive into the world of nail salons, filled with jaw-dropping, wild, and unbelievable tales straight from the clients themselves. The air in my little nail salon off the Vegas Strip smells like acetone and desperation most days. Glitter-dusted showgirls, hungover tourists, and locals with chipped polish and wild stories. I've been a manicurist in Sin City for 30 years, and I've heard it all. Tales of jackpot wins, heartbreak losses, and everything in between. My hands are steady with a file, but my ears are sharper than a blackjack dealer's eye. People spill their souls over a fresh set of acrylics. I've got a story of my own to tell, like Maria's. Maria was a regular, every 2 weeks, like clockwork. She'd slide into my chair with her almond-shaped nails and a tired smile. He wasn't flashy like the cocktail waitresses or dripping in diamonds like the high rollers' wives. She was a working mom, mid-30s. Her nails were her one indulgence, always a bold red, glossy as the taillights on a Cadillac. With a quiet strength that showed in the way she held her shoulders even when her eyes looked hollow. "Keeps me feeling alive," she'd say, flexing her fingers as I buffed the edges smooth. She didn't talk much at first, but over months, the polish peeled back her story. Married to Rod, a construction worker with a temper and a wandering eye. 2 kids, Leela 4 and Mateo 2, her whole world. And Valerie, her best friend since high school, who'd been there through every scraped knee and late-night cry. They were a trio, Maria thought, until the day she walked in on Rod and Valerie tangled up in her own bedsheets. I remember the day she told me. Her hands trembled as I trimmed her cuticles, and her voice cracked like cheap glass. "I caught them, you know, right there in my house. My best friend," she laughed, bitter as the desert wind. "He swore it was a one-time thing, begged me to stay, said he'd die without me and the kids. I didn't say much, just kept filing, letting her vent." Maria filed for divorce that week, moved out with the kids, and started rebuilding. Wouldn't let go. He'd show up at her new apartment with flowers, tears streaming down his sunburned face, promising he'd change. Months of that wore her down, and against her better judgment. She took him back. "He's on a leash now," she told me one humid July afternoon, her red nails gleaming under my lamp. I told him, "Rod, you ever pull that shit again, I'll burn you alive." And I meant it. Her eyes were steel, and I believed her. You don't survive Vegas without a little fire in your gut. Things seemed to settle for a while. Maria's nails stayed pristine. Her kids' chatter filled her stories, and Rod kept his nose clean. At least, that's what she thought. Then came the day the daycare called. It was a Wednesday, late March, the kind of day where the sun beats down like it's mad at you. I was midway through a gel set for a bride-to-be when Maria burst in. Her apron still tied from the diner where she waitressed part-time. "Gotta cancel today," she said, breathless. "Daycare called. Leela and Mateo are sniffling, and they won't keep them there. Rod's on a site, so I'm grabbing them." She looked frazzled but determined, the way only a mom can. I waved her off with a "take care," and went back to my bride. What happened next, Maria told me over a double session a week later. 2 hours of nail work and a story that left my jaw on the floor. She'd picked up the kids, bundled them into their car seats with tissues, and a promise of chicken soup. Leela was whining about her stuffy nose, and Mateo was dozing off, his little cheeks flushed. Maria was turning onto her street, a quiet stretch of stucco houses near North Las Vegas. When she saw it, Valerie's beat-up Toyota Corolla parked around the corner. Half hidden by a sagging palm tree, her stomach dropped. She knew that car like she knew her own reflection. Valerie hadn't been welcome near her life since the first betrayal. Maria didn't panic. She's not the type. Instead, she pulled over a block away, killed the engine, and squinted toward her house. There it was. Rod's dusty F-150 in the driveway, bold as brass. He was supposed to be laying concrete out by Henderson, not home at 2 in the afternoon. Her pulse kicked up, but she kept her cool. She grabbed the kid's diaper bag, slung it over her shoulder, and told Leela to hold Mateo's hand. "We're playing a quiet game," she whispered, leading him down the sidewalk like a lioness stalking prey. The closer she got, the surer she was. Music drifted from the house, some old rock tune Rod loved, loud enough to mask whatever was happening inside. Maria didn't go for the front door. She slipped around back to the shed, where Rod kept his tools and a dented gas can for the lawnmower. Her hands didn't shake as she picked it up, the weight sloshing in her grip. She left the kids on the patio with a stern, "Stay here," and crept inside. The house smelled like betrayal, sweat and cheap perfume cutting through the stale air. She moved silent as a shadow, the gas can cold against her palm. The bedroom door was cracked, and there they were, Rod and Valerie, a mess of limbs and moans. Oblivious to the world, Maria didn't scream, she didn't cry. She pushed the door open, tipped the can, and let the gasoline rain down over the bed. Over their naked bodies, a thin stream that soaked the sheets and splattered their skin. Rod's eyes flew open first. "Maria, what the hell?" Valerie shrieked, scrambling for a blanket. But Maria was already striking the match. The scritch of it igniting was louder than the music. She tossed it, and poof, flames licked up. Not a bonfire, just enough to make them scream. The fire caught the edge of the sheets, danced across Rod's chest hair, and singed Valerie's peroxide blonde curls. They flailed, batting at the flames, their curses drowned by the crackle. Maria stood there, arms crossed, the empty gas container at her feet. "I warned you," she said, her voice steady as a judge's gavel. Rod rolled off the bed, smacking at the embers on his skin, while Valerie sobbed, clutching a scorched pillow. The fire fizzled out fast. Maria hadn't used much, just enough to make her point. She turned on her heel, collected her kids, and walked out. The smell of burnt hair and gasoline trailed her like a victory march. Here's the wild part. Neither Rod nor Valerie called the cops. Maybe they were too ashamed. Or maybe they knew they'd pushed her too far. Maria filed for divorce again the next day. And this time, she didn't look back. She got joint custody of Leela and Mateo, moved into a tidy apartment near the Salon, and started over. Her nails stayed red, fiercer than ever. I saw her a month later, her hands resting on my table as I shaped her nails. "You think I'm crazy?" she asked, half smiling. I grinned back. "Nah, Vegas crazy, maybe, but you're a survivor." She nodded, flexing her fingers. "Damn right." Word got around, as it does in this town. Rod and Valerie shacked up after the divorce. Had a kid, a boy with Rod's squint and Valerie's sharp nose. They played happy family for a couple years, posting blurry pics on social media, like they'd beaten the odds. But Vegas has a way of evening the score. 2 years down the line, Rod came home early from a job and found Valerie in bed with his buddy Jake, a drywall guy with a mullet and a bad tattoo. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. They split, nasty and loud, and last I heard, Rod's crashing on Jake's couch, broken bitter. Maria, she's thriving, works doubles at the diner, raises her kids with a firm hand and a soft heart, and still sits in my chair every 2 weeks. Her nails are her armor, her scarlet badge of courage. "Calm as a bitch," she told me last time, admiring her fresh manicure. But I'm not. That's life in Sin City. Glitz and grit, betrayal and payback, all under the neon glow. I see it every day, right here at my nail table. Maria's story isn't the wildest I've heard, but it's the one that sticks with me. Maybe because it's about more than revenge. It's about a woman who took her power back, one match at a time.